And now I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Franziska Brantner. She's a Parliamentary State Secretary at the Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Protection. And dear Franziska Brantner, very welcome to our Quantum Summit. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Demel, and also dear Dr. Maas-Brunner. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be with you, even if it's only in a digital way, but it's still nice to be able to send you some words from our perspective. I'm sitting in the Bundestag. We have a session a week this week, and I'm really happy to welcome you to this year's Bitcoms Quantum Summit in the year 2022. And as you know better than I do, since the 1990s, we have known that quantum computers could hold a huge potential in speeding up all calculations for so many tasks. And, you know, this has been a huge motivation to start building quantum computer in the early 2000s. And it has its origins in academia. But of course, we have seen that many companies have got involved as well over the last couple of years. And I think that this is good. And now we have the first quantum computers that have been developed, not yet, you know, at the level that we aim to achieve, but you know, it's still at the beginning, but with still huge potential. And I just want to tell you that for us, it is important to support the quantum technology. We still believe that we will achieve the targets or the hopes that were set early on already at the beginning of its development. And we think that, you know, we will have to get a good arrangement between academia and business to really work together. So we will need major research, really, also still basic research. And at the same time, we also want to support startups, also well-known companies who work in the sector, who are also, you know, already contributing to it. And in that sense, I think we in Germany, we still have to catch up a bit. We are well positioned when it comes to basic research, but we still lack an industrial ecosystem that we can build on that research. And this is something that we have at the ministry taken on board by focusing part of the stimulus package from the Corona crisis on quantum computing. The sum is 2 billion. You might say it's nothing. These days we're talking about much higher sums all the time, but still it is 2 billion. And the Ministry of Education and Research is providing the long-term support for the science side in form of grants. And it supports different research institutions, but it also involves collaborative projects with industry and industrial actors. And as I have seen, Mr. Schieferdecker, you will certainly tell more about this later on. And secondly, our ministry, we are pursuing the business-oriented approach, and we try really to build on the existing structures and technology in industry and startups. And we want to support companies in the competition around the globe, and to be part of that or building up such an ecosystem. So we have these two baselines of the spending of the funding, and of course it is coordinated so that we do not duplicate each other. So a large part of those 2 billion goes to the German Aerospace Center, DLR, and sort of the DLR becomes a key customer, a smart buyer vis-a-vis the companies. So the DLR will contract 80%, and this is a new approach also for Germany. And I think it's a good one. We have been looking a bit at how the US is doing it, and I think it's good that we take over some of the methods that have proven to be successful in other countries. We also do provide additional funding, 65 million from our ministry, which is specifically geared towards space travel. It's with the National Program for Space and Innovation. And then we have a Plan QK project, platform and ecosystem for quantum-based artificial intelligence. So it's a big one. That's also 50 million. In addition, we have Metrology Institute in Germany, which will receive 25 million to establish a center of excellence for quantum technology. So you see that we have this entire support system built up between the two ministries together to work to enhance quantum computing. And I hope that this allows us to really catch up in the global competition. And we have seen that in these more complicated, geopolitically more complicated days and times, that we have to be more resilient. And that is also very true, of course, for the technological area, like quantum computing. So this is something that motivates us even further for supporting our European ecosystem, and to make it bigger and even more important when it comes to securing our own innovation potential in Europe and keeping it here. And I'm quite optimistic that we will get there, and that we can further work together with many of you in this room now, digitally or in persona, and that I hope that at the next summit we will hear some results. And I think is one of the things that I still would like to mention is that the DLR is setting up a special program to support young scientists. And I think that is something that is important, that we really do build the professional expertise in our country on it. And the Quantum Fellowship Program will have up to 30 PhD and postdoctoral students to be created over the next couple of years. And I really count that this will make a big difference, because it will increase the basis for working on quantum technologies. I'm quite optimistic that with that we can also catch up, not just when it comes to the companies and ecosystem, but really at the foundation to have more people, young people, go and work in this area. So you have today a couple of topics ahead of you, and I know that you're working already on specific industrial applications. You're working on financing, you're working on how we can improve the ecosystem. And I have people of our house, of our team with you, and they're taking note of what you're discussing so that we can be at the top of the debate and really support where necessary. We will probably all have tougher times in terms of financial support, but I think the more precise and the better and the more targeted we can support projects, research, companies, startups, the better. So if you have concrete proposals or critique at the current setup, please do communicate it. We are always happy to take on board the feedback by practitioners and to incorporate it into reviews. So this is the start of a dialogue, and I'm looking forward to next events and hearing back from you in terms of how you would like us to get better, or in terms of how you think we could better and faster catch up. Thank you.